Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is my review of Clemency. Clemency was featured as one of the spotlight productions for the Denver Film Festival 2019. This drama follows the life of Bernadine Williams, a ward for a prison that features the death penalty and follows out executions, and grapples with some internal feeling. The film really kicks in as we see the case of Anthony Woods as he enters his sentence on death row, and Bernadine really has to confront the psychological demons that her job presents. So heading into the film, I didn't know much about what the movie was actually about and what it was going to follow. I just knew that Alfre Woodard was getting some awards talk, some buzz around her name heading into the season. We did get a disclaimer before the film began, as part of the special presentation of the film during the festival, that it was going to be a heavy one. And they were right. But heavy and really, really good. So let's go ahead and jump into those positives. I want to kick things off with first-time writer-director Chinonye Chukwu. Sorry for the pronunciation. But what an amazing job she does in her first outing as both a writer and director on a film. The direction is really sophisticated in this movie. We get some beautiful tracking shots, some really nice metaphoric imagery as we work through. And then as we build to the emotional climaxes of this film, wow. I mean, it's really a breathtaking job, especially from a first-time director. But the script is also really strong and really tackles headfirst some difficult issues and makes the audience really think about their stance and think about just the heft of the situation and our institution of the justice system. But wow. But these performances are amazing. Alfre Woodard is getting a lot of the buzz, and it is well deserved. This is one of the best performances I have seen in 2019. I hope it's just flashy enough for awards voters to pull the trigger and nominate her, because this is such a really sophisticated performance. Woodard does so much in her face that conveys all of the multifaceted layers that her character has to go through. And what I really enjoyed from both the directing and acting performance here is the evolution of Bernadine. We can really see her struggle in minute ways as we move through this movie. The layers are peeled back on this character who at first could seem very one-dimensional, and she does amazing. Whether it is those really small moments, the really close-up shots of her face, or the bigger dramatic moments of the film, she is amazing. Richard Schiff is also really good as the attorney in this film. His performance is another that is highly understated, but really transformative. His performance honestly affected me a lot as we continued on through the movie. To see the transformation of his character was almost alarming, and it put you in the place of his client. It was a really deep performance from Schiff. And then speaking of the client, Aldous Hodge, he's stellar in this movie. I will say I would like to see him not be put in chains in a film. It seems like a lot of his roles, the roles he's been getting, he plays some sort of prisoner this way or the next. But wow, what an elevated job from him. He has a much showier role than most of the other actors here in this film, but it always reads as completely genuine and authentic. I mean, it's the best I've ever seen him, honestly. And I have to give a special shout out to Danielle Brooks, who I had never seen before. She doesn't have much screen time in this film, but she makes the most of that screen time she does have. What a stellar debut to the big screen. Just amazing. And I loved the subject matter, and I think the subject matter is a very interesting one. Of course, we have had famous films about death row and the death penalty before, but this really took on the idea of legal murder. in a different kind of capacity. We got to see it through the eyes of somebody in the justice system, one that wasn't a cop, and what it does to her as well, and the box and the predicament that this line of work puts literally everyone into. And it really pushes back at the ideas of black and white, good or bad, and has you analyze all of that throughout the entire film. For much of the runtime, it feels like a very gray area type of film, and I commend it for keeping in that gray for as much of the movie as it could. But this is a deep film. It is really deep. You are on the hook from the very moment it begins, and you're pretty much holding your breath the entire time. It's a really tense film that layers on this thick atmosphere and doesn't really let up. And then the music and sound design. I had to mention those. They go right along with that tension and atmosphere. It was beautifully done. The sound design in particular was amazing, but this original score was really great, and it all added up to this powerful film. So what didn't work so well when it came to Clemency? I will say, around the end of the second act, the beginning of the third act, I started to get to a point where I thought we were diverging into one too many storylines. We got introduced to a lot of late game characters in the film, and we had all of these different, like, dramatic type of story threads going throughout the film. And at a point, it's kind of like, okay, I really want to strip this back down to the base that it was. And we get back there in that third act, but there are moments that we're kind of just like, I don't know we're going to have time to resolve all this, that we're starting to open up. When it comes to the prisoner, particularly in this film, I think the film goes down a path that makes the impact of the movie stronger, I'm going to say that, and makes you feel for people in this film. But I think it muddies but I do think it confuses the overall message of the movie just a tad, because we start to get such a personal relationship with this one prisoner that we become invested in his plight as well as Bernadette's plight and the lawyer's plight. But those three things all start to become distinct differences, and distinct differences that kind of pull different ways. So this one's a little bit nitpicky, I'll say, but I do think the attachment we grow to the character works well for the film specifically. However, at large, it muddies up the overall message of what we're doing here. But overall, Clemency was really, really a good movie. I was holding my breath the entire film. I was on edge, really just evaluating as we went on in the movie. Some amazing performances, great work from all of the cast, and a beautiful writing and directorial debut. When you're in the proper mindset for a heavy film, definitely seek Clemency out. So, that is my review for Clemency. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click like down below, and subscribe to the channel so you are always up to date on our latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. Are you excited to see Clemency? And what is your favorite film that revolves around death row? Let me know either in the comment section down below, or you can hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your continued support. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!